Hey, what's up everybody, cmdrradix here bringing you another video, and as I said in our last community comments video, I'll be doing another history meme reaction video, and it's been a long time. I'm scared of looking up how long it's been since we last did a history meme reaction video. These videos are always fun to make, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, we can spend a lot of time talking about academic history and trying to be professional historians and trying to find the deeper history of the world. But every now and then we gotta relax with some memes, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and chill, let's relax, and let's go through some history memes with me providing some commentary that is very often historically inaccurate. Now, of course, our memes are going to be coming from r/history memes, which is Reddit, which is unfortunate, but you know, is there a better, let me know if there's a better aggregate of history-related memes besides Reddit. I would appreciate that, unironically. Okay, so we're here, it's the War of the Seventh Coalition. We have Britain, he's found Napoleon, and he's calling out, "Hey, Seventh Coalition, we fighting Napoleon again! Come out, Prussia, Austria, Bourbon, France, Netherlands, Brunswick, Hanover, Nassau, Württemberg, Tuscany, Russia, Baden, Bavaria, Denmark, Liechtenstein, Portugal, Sardinia, Saxony, Sicily, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland." Yeah. Of course, referencing the fact that the coalitions and all the countries that were fighting France during the Napoleonic Wars as a whole and the French Revolutionary Wars was a crazy amount of countries, depending on how you count it, becomes very much out of hand. It is impressive how much France and Napoleon were able to win in the Napoleonic Wars, although, of course, by the end of the conflict, they were defeated. She, not her, she. Bay, come over. Stalin. Can't. I'm sending people to Gulag. She. My parents aren't home. Stalin. I know. Oh no. Oh no. Of course, a joke referring to the, to the gulags Stalin was known to send people to. You know, some people might say that this is fascinating in that they are therefore Stalin's fan. I would think that's the most confusing way to put that, but whatever. Stalin is certainly an interesting figure to look into. That much is true. Oh, we have America here holding up a phone. Fine. Behold how happy we look as a couple in this photo. And then there's America in the Philippines, the US gaining territory in East Asia, and over 200,000 Filipinos dying in the first 3 years of American control. Yeah, the American colonization of the Philippines is kind of an understudied area in history. 200,000. Ooh. Which it really says something when we consider that the Japanese occupation of the Philippines was so bad that we've kind of forged a new US-Filipino relationship based on opposition to the Japanese occupation of the Philippines, which makes you wonder, okay, well, how bad was the Japanese occupation of the Philippines? Okay, world leaders now, and we have 4 guys in a suit, one of them with yellow hair, and then world leaders 100 years ago, and we have Saint Tsar Nicholas II in his royal garb, we have President Theodore Roosevelt, and we have the German Emperor, the Kaiser, Wilhelm II. All of them, full drip. I have said time and time again on Twitter that we need to go beyond the age of the business suit world leader. There is no reason the U.S. Department of War Secretary is dressed in a business suit. We will know that the 20th century has been abolished once people start dressing like it's Code Geass. Because that's how leaders are supposed to dress. In many ways, we were a much more serious society 100 years ago. Okay, we're looking at Vladimir Lenin here, a lot of Soviet communists in this video. All Iranian empires are cool. Shia, Sunni, Zoroastrian, all of them. Why is Lenin saying this? What? Okay, this seems like the meme maker's opinion, that they like all Iranian empires. I just don't know why it's coming out of the mouth of Vladimir Lenin. I don't get this one, TBH. During World War I, a British officer named Robert Campbell was a prisoner in Germany when he learned that his mother was dying. He wrote to the Kaiser asking to be released, and his request was granted with the condition that he had to return. Campbell spent a week with his mother and then returned. And then we got the saluting, crying guy. Yeah, in many ways, the era of World War I, this is going to sound insane for those not in the know, but in many ways, the era of World War I was a bit more civilized than our world today in 2025. I'm recording this in 2025. It's entirely possible this video comes out in 2026. But right, this actually isn't surprising to me when you think about the sort of worldview that people, even in the early 1910s, had, that we have lost in the 21st century. This definitely could not happen today. Alright, we got a cat looking inside meme. I love these types of memes. I love this cat. The Art of War by Sun Tzu, the greatest strategy genius of antiquity. Look inside. It is better to attack when your enemy is weaker. Before a campaign, get enough supplies for the campaign. Do not antagonize all your neighbors at the same time. Right? Genius. Yeah, I really don't get this idea of where the Art of War is like one of the great Chinese classics and one of the greatest books of wisdom of the ancient world. To my understanding, the Art of War was not considered one of the Chinese classics by the Chinese. It's sort of like an add-on. I don't know where its popularity came from, but it is, you know, filled with things that are like, yeah, alright, buddy. If we are able thus to attack an inferior force with a superior one, our opponents will be in dire straits. So, if you have a superior force and you attack an inferior force, the inferior force might lose. In case you didn't know. Art of War shouldn't be the symbolic book of what is the Chinese canon. Read the Tao Te Ching. Read Confucius. Read Mencius. Oh, we have Lindy Beige here. I'm a big fan of Lindy Beige. In proportion to the world population at the time, Napoleon killed more people than Hitler and is therefore eviler. I'd assume context would probably help with this with this line of dialogue, but there does seem to be this sort of meme that people do where we try to compare the statistics of who killed the most people and therefore who is evilest, right? Who is more evil, Napoleon or Hitler? You know, I'm sure Lindy Beige doesn't mean to really address this topic like this, but I'm of the opinion that that's not a really useful way to study history, to see it in terms of who's evil and who's not evil. I think that creates a very simplistic understanding of history. Commander Radix, did you just say Hitler wasn't evil? Okay, we have LeBron James here. LeBron James reportedly forgot the 20th Maine could just fix bayonets after running out of ammunition. Yeah. That is what Colonel Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain leading the 20th Maine down the hill at, I think this is at Little Round Top, during the second day of fighting at the Battle of Gettysburg, July 2nd, 1863, which is one of the most incredible maneuvers in American military history. One of the bravest maneuvers as well, to lead this charge into the unknown with bayonets. It's Gettysburg, the Battle of Gettysburg, the American Civil War is filled with moments like these. But yeah, LeBron, you can't forget stuff like this, man. 1793, and we have a slightly demonic Jacobin over here. Welp, the king is dead. And then we have another blood-stained Jacobin. Did we really just do that? Yeah, you did. You have no idea what you have unleashed. And here we are at 1804, we have a French soldier. Napoleon is emperor now. That's so much less authoritarian than a stupid king. And then we have another soldier, Vive l'Empereur. Alright. A lot of Napoleon references this episode. Yep, 1793, the death of King Louis XVI, French Revolution. If I could go back in time and stop an event from happening, it would be the French Revolution. We kind of have to understand that the French people's reaction from 1793 to 1804, the reaction to King Louis XVI and the reaction to Emperor Napoleon I, looks weird if we don't really understand the history. When we understand the history, we realize what sort of chaos killing King Louis XVI unleashed in France, and how much more of a stabilizing force Napoleon was. 1793 was the opening of the gates of oblivion onto France. 1804 was the hero of Cavache sealing shut the jaws of oblivion, and Martin Septim taking on Mehrunes Dagon. Napoleon is a really interesting figure. I've actually prepared like 2 or so video research notes that are somewhat related to Napoleon that I might make at some point. And of course, Napoleon had a big impact on the Romantic movement, which is another video I want to make at some point. And of course, Napoleon versus King Louis XVI is another classical example of it isn't really the system of government that's a problem. It's almost always a problem with the people in that system of government. But that's going to wrap up this episode of History Meme Reactions. I don't know if there's a proper title I can give this series. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of this video. If you have any recommendations for a better place to get history memes besides Reddit, please let me know. I would really like to have access to something like that. In the comments below, tell me, what do you think about Napoleon? Is he our guy, or is he cringe? Or is he eviler than Hitler? But thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you have not yet. Follow me on social media. All the links are in the description. And have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.